Welcome to the video. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, subscribe. In today's video, I will be making the tweed dress that Goldie wears from Animal Crossing, and I'm super excited. It turned out pretty cute. This is the third part in a series where the last video I did the maple leaf pochette, and then the video before that I did the tulip hat. So if you're interested in those, link will be somewhere around here, and there's also a playlist so you can watch all of them in order. Before we get into me sewing, we're gonna do the topic of the week, which is Black History Month. It's Black History Month, and I haven't really said anything about it. I was planning on making a full video on Black History Month, but that takes a lot of emotional energy. It would have just been really rushed and not what I wanted to put out there. So instead, I'm just gonna make a quick announcement here. Look up Black history things. Listen to Black people and listen to their voices. And I had a sort of revelation a while ago and thinking about hip-hop specifically and how young it is. It's only about 50 years old. That just blew my mind that there's people alive today that lived in a time where hip-hop just didn't exist. Like, it's just crazy to me. But history is now, and we're making history, and I don't know, when we think of history, we think of it as being so detached from where we are now, and it's not. It's not. These things that we think of as in the past are not that far away. And just thinking about a art form that was made to have a space where you have a voice, in a lot of other instances where you feel like you didn't have a voice, and thinking of that being only 50 years old, like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me. And I feel like a lot of people who don't really believe that racism exists right now, that's crazy to me. Anyways, I'm trying to put this in words, but it's not coming out very great, which is why I need a lot more time to do this video. A reminder to look up Black history stuff and be knowledgeable, and to listen to Black people today, because we're making history right now. And this is sort of just like a jumping off point, and I will be talking more about this later, but I just have so many things going on in my brain that it's hard to put it in a clear, concise video or a blurb, because there's just so much going on in my brain. And I don't know, despite living as a biracial person for 20-something years, I still am not sure how to talk about it. And I think a lot of times I sort of second guess myself. I get worried that my vocabulary isn't specific enough or relatable enough to white audiences, that they just won't understand what I'm saying, and I'm just trying so hard to make people understand. I don't know. I guess not everything that I talk about regarding race has to be convincing people to not be racist, and I can just talk about existing and have it be for audiences that aren't white. But I don't know. My brain is just like, this is the problem, we have to solve the problem, and anything that's not clearly solving the problem is not helpful. But that's not true. A discussion for another day. Lots of other people are having discussions about this, and I feel like I'm responsible to always be having these conversations and speak on these things, because they're important, even though it's only a small amount of people that are seeing my videos. That small amount of people have the power to make a difference and change the world and all that. yeah, I'm saying a lot of things that maybe aren't relevant to this video, but they're relevant to my life, so I'm gonna say them. That's the takeaway from what I'm saying right now, is just listen to Black Voices, subscribe if you want to hear more. So let's get into the video. Let's see how I made this dress. So I measured both the button-up that I'm putting underneath the dress and the dress that I have that fits me pretty well, and then I sketched out what the dress would look like. And I had just enough fabric, so I couldn't make any mistakes, and if I did, then just, oh well, you can't have the dress. Measure twice, cut once. And then, magically, I made the fabric smooth. I marked the measurements from my sketches and put them on the fabric. And sorry, there's not clearer instructions on drafting or planning or making a pattern, because I still am not quite sure what I'm doing, especially when it comes to, like, the armholes and collars and stuff. But it helps a lot if you have clothes that already fit you and then use those to deconstruct what their pattern would look like and figure it out for yourself. And it also helps to have actual patterns to use. And then I marked out seam allowance. And then I started cutting it out, which you can see I go pretty slow because I am really scared of messing up, and my mistakes aren't really able to be undone because, like I said before, I literally have just enough fabric. I do not have any extra, and you can see I'm putting the sleeve right next to the dress. I have like no scraps left over. You can see the tiny little pile over there. But yeah, I was really nervous, but it ended up being alright. And the arms were just a little bit tight, but there's not really much that I could have done different. Then I used the button up to measure out the neckline, and I cut it out. And then I started sewing. First I put the arm pieces together, and then I did a stay stitch on the neckline, and that just prevents the fabric from warping as you're handling it, and so that when you sew it later on, it lies flat on your chest, and there's not any weird puckering anywhere. And then I sewed the shoulder seams, and then I sewed the sides of the dress. And then I sewed the neckline, which I need to do more research on how to make necklines because this is not the best. From the outside it looks okay, you can't really tell, but from the inside it looks absolutely horrendous. And then I hemmed the seams, which I believe I used a fake French seam, where basically you sew the two pieces right sides together, and then you fold the raw fabric inward, and then you sew on that folded part. Which in the video you can see me folding. You can see me folding the fabric and just sewing right on top. And I did that for every seam of the dress, and that prevents fraying and it feels a lot nicer on your skin. And then I sewed the armholes together, which scared me quite a bit because I haven't done it before, and it's new, and it's also curved, and figuring out how the pieces fit together is really intimidating. But I did it, and it ended up looking good. And then I hemmed all the raw edges. And then I tried it on, and it needed more of a curve at the bottom, which it took a few tries to figure it out, but I got it. And then I hemmed the sleeves, and I did this by folding over the raw hem towards the inside of the garment, and then sewing on top of that, and then folding it over a second time so that the raw hem is hidden, and then sewing on top of that again. And then I hemmed the bottom of the dress, and since I had some more leeway with the seam allowance, I folded it over twice and then sewed, instead of doing what I did for the arms. And that made a thicker distance between the stitch and the edge of the dress, and it also saved a lot of time and thread, because it's half the amount of stitches that you have to do. Then it was time to paint, which this took the most time by far. I have almost 10 hours of footage that's just me painting. So I started off by mixing the colors and doing some tests on the small amount of scrap fabric that I have. And I used textile medium, which makes the paint less stiff and sticks to the fabric easier. And for textile medium, it's 2 parts paint to 1 part medium. And to help know how much I needed to use, I sort of flattened the paint on the palette and I drew 2 squares worth of paint and then 1 empty square the same size, and then I put the medium in that square, and that helped me to estimate. So if you were to draw a 2x2 set of 4 squares, 2 of them would have paint, 1 of them would have medium, and 1 of them would be empty. So here's some footage of me painting. Do you guys like footage of me painting? I'm not really sure. During editing, I just want to cut it out, and I feel like it takes up too much time, but it seems like some people really like watching videos of paint mixing. So if you do like that, just let me know in the comments so I know if I should keep it in the video or just cut it out. So I put the masking tape down because there's no way I'm making straight lines on my own. And then I started painting, which it was fun at first because I like to paint, but it took so long. And I only painted the sleeves and one side of the dress, which I happened to paint the back side instead of the front side. So if I look a little bit uncomfy in the beauty shots, that's because I am, and the dress is hugging my neck a little bit too tight. And then I had a cookie, and it was during like Halloween, so we made like these little pumpkin looking cookies, and they were pretty good. They were chocolate chip. So here's some bonus footage of me taking the extra paint to paint a different shirt that I have. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice. So it's a new day, and I started painting the sleeves, and I cut out a lot of footage because there was just so much, but a lot of it included me using a hairdryer to blow dry the paint, which I thought it would make it a lot faster, but it didn't. And then I also have a spray bottle that I used to make sure that the paint didn't dry out as I was using it. And then I also had a lot of footage that was just out of frame because I did not care. I was so done with this project and just wanted to be done. And then I also got distracted by a cat who was in our backyard. So then I just had to peel off the tape and the dress was done. I think it turned out pretty cute. Let me know what you think in the comments below. For now, I'm gonna not do this series for a while, but I will be doing it again in the future, so if you have any suggestions, then let me know in the comments. Yeah, thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Also, if you're interested in some late Valentine's Day content, I got you covered. Next video, I'm going to be making OCs based on Valentine's Day items like chocolates and roses. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye! If you're digging my vibes, then hit subscribe, smash the bell so you can catch me live, have a question or comment, let me know. Let's start a conversation in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Now I have mud on my hand. Okay. I didn't think this through. I was gonna like touch my hat and stuff, but